The first substrate of citric acid cycle is pyruvate. In either if they ask in citric acid cycle, what are the other names of citric acid cycle? Other names. Other names of citric acid cycle. No. You've been doubtful about that. Yes. Just you can see notes and say no issues. Then yeah, that's it. Another you will be knowing the names, but you will be forgetting. So remember, first substrate of citric acid cycle is pyruvate. Remember that. Now the second thing is the substrate level phosphorylation, whichever we have seen, which happens in mitochondria, isn't it? Remember, substrate level phosphorylation always happens in your mitochondria. And what is the enzyme that is catalyzed over there? Succinyl-CoA thiokinase. Remember, succinyl-CoA thiokinase. It is an enzyme that catalyzes which process? Substrate level phosphorylation. So if they ask you vice versa also, substrate level phosphorylation occurs in which enzyme? Succinyl-CoA thiokinase. If they ask you succinyl-CoA thiokinase is processed for which reaction? Substrate level phosphorylation. Remember that. In HMP shunt, so here one more thing you have to notice. In HMP shunt, this is important. Why? Because it produces NADH but never NADH. Remember, this is very, very important. HMP shunt, in your hexose monophosphate shunt, which is produced, NADPH is produced, but never in a hurry or in a way to answer. Please don't answer NADH. NADH means it literally goes on with ATP. In your HMP shunt, there is no ATP. Remember, in your HMP shunt, there is no ATP. So if they ask you what is being produced in a HMP shunt, then, sorry, NADPH. NADPH is produced in your HMP shunt. Remember that. Your ATP is produced in HMP shunt. Yes or no? No. Your ATP never be produced, but they will be having only NADPH. The synthesis of fatty acid occurs in cytosol or cytoplasm. Remember, whenever we speak about fatty acid synthesis, it happens in cytosol or it happens in cytoplasm. Same. But fatty acid synthesis is not used by which organ? Yes, then main organ. Brain. Yes, it is important, right? Brain is the one organ that never uses the process of fatty acid synthesis for energy production. So if they ask you fatty acid synthesis happens where is the location? Cytosol, right? So fatty acid synthesis will never be happening in your brain. Remember that. So if they ask about you the carriers, they contain main enzymes, and the main thing for the synthesis to happen, then your answer should be acyl carrier protein and pantothenic acid. What is the vitamin? Pantothenic acid. Pantothenic acid. 5 or 6? 6 is pyridoxine. Okay. B5 is your pantothenic acid. Remember, these two things are very important for your fatty acid synthesis. Okay. What are the two things? Acyl carrier protein and pantothenic acid. Remember that. So coming to the beta oxidation of fatty acids, there is pre-oxidation of fatty acids. What are all them? Alpha, beta, and gamma fatty acid oxidation. In that, if they ask about beta, then which CoA is important? Means whenever fatty acid synthesis comes, remember one thing in your mind, CoA. That will be the thing. If you're confused within the CoA, that is secondary. But whenever fatty acid synthesis comes, remember in your mind CoA. Okay. Yes. So that means beta oxidation of fatty acid produces propionyl CoA. Remember that. Now speaking about ketone bodies, actually there are many things to speak about fatty acid, but still the few things you have to keep it in your mind are these. Okay. Now ketone bodies are formed in liver. Very important. Ketone bodies are formed in liver. If they ask you about the byproduct, they are the product of Where does it comes from? It comes from fatty acid metabolism. These are all the few things. It's a direct one-liners. No any compromise in this, direct one-liners. So ketone bodies are normally produced. What I said you, if regarding ketone bodies, which is a product of fatty acid synthesis, whatever that comes, your answer should be ending with CoA. Okay. Here ketone bodies, you have to remember acetyl CoA. Clear? Ketone bodies are formed in liver. What is the doubt? Ketone bodies are formed in liver. Remember, ketone bodies are normally produced from acetyl CoA. There is a difference. It is produced in liver and it is produced from acetyl CoA enzyme. Remember that. The ketone body production, remember 1:1. Okay, ketone body production, if they ask you, 1 is for 1 milligram per day, remember that. And if they ask you the conversion of acetoacetate, actually there is a cycle, right, where ketone bodies produces acetoacetate and beta hydroxyacetate. So acetoacetate is the first produced ketone body. If they ask you which is the first produced ketone body, then your answer is acetoacetate, and the enzyme used here over there is acetoacetyl CoA. Simple. The first produced ketone body is acetoacetate, and the means utilization of enzyme over here is acetoacetyl CoA. So here I want you to remember two things. One about your propanol CoA, and the second thing is about your acetoacetyl CoA. So beta oxidation of fatty acid, then your answer should be propanol CoA. And ketone bodies, the conversion, then your answer should be acetoacetyl CoA. Two CoAs you have to remember. Whether you remember the other CoAs, that doesn't matter. Acetoacetyl CoA and propanol CoA, remember that. What is the important feature of starvation, especially when ketone bodies are formed? Because they will be forming without glycosuria. Why? Because they cause this hyperglycemia, and that is because of your DKA. So ketone bodies means always you have to remember about one thing, that is DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. Clear? What's the treatment or the management of diabetic ketoacidosis? Insulin, regular insulin. Okay, and you have to monitor which levels mainly when you're giving insulin. If you're giving insulin for the patient who is having diabetic ketoacidosis, hyperglycemia levels, the one thing you have to keep it in your mind and monitor for sure. What is that? One electrolyte. I'll give you a clue also. One electrolyte. Yes, you said right. Potassium. It's very important because in hyperkalemia, when potassium is too much, your treatment will be insulin. Why? Because it decreases the potassium level. So DKA, when you're managing with insulin, Pakka you have to add KCl, potassium chloride. Remember, in management, you have to give insulin. But while giving insulin, what you have to be monitoring? You have to monitor about potassium. So insulin with KCl you have to give in for the treatment. So if in the option they would have been giving insulin or oral hypoglycemic drugs, insulin with KCl, then your answer should be insulin with KCl, because we don't know when the patient's electrolytes will be dropping. And potassium is a very important ion which plays an important role in heart and causing sometimes arrhythmia and cardiac. Yes. Hypokalemia causes yes, there will be a issue in the QT interval. It is inversely proportional. Clear? That is very important. Now coming again, so these is also from your notes, and this physiological uncouplers and the pathological uncouplers have been repeated multiple times in your FMG June 2018 exam. Clear? So what are all the physiological uncouplers? Physiological uncouplers. Anyone? Physiological uncouplers. What is the physiological uncouplers? Remember, whenever we speak about physiological uncouplers, remember two T's. One is your thermogenin. Have you heard about thermogenin? Where it is present? I hope you would have been studied in your pediatrics as well. Yes. And this is the reason why we feel always hot. And this is the reason for non-fevering thermogenesis in newborns. Why newborns doesn't feel so cool? Because of this thermogenin, and it's a physiological uncoupler. Remember, what is the next T? That is your thyroxine. Okay. What are all the two physiological uncouplers? One is your thyroxine, then two physiological uncouplers, thermogenin and thyroxine. Yes. And if we speak about pathological uncouplers, that is 2,4-dinitrophenol. Okay. 2,4-dinitrophenol. And if you give too much of dose of aspirin, and then that is to a pathological uncoupler. Suppose then dinitrocresol is also a pathological uncoupler. Remember, if you remember three things, that doesn't matter, at least remember this one. Okay, what is an example of pathological uncoupler? High dose aspirin. And physiological uncoupler, thyroxine and thermogenin, which is present in your brown fat. Now, I hope you'd have been knowing about RQ, that is respiratory quotient. It reduces heat production. Whenever there is ATP production in your electron transport chain in mitochondria, it produces heat. If it is normally producing heat, it's because of physiological uncoupler. If it is producing abnormal heat production, that's because of pathological uncouplers. And example is your hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, where the people say, no, it's not like fever, it's like increase in temperature. There is much difference between increase in temperature and fever. Fever always causes whenever there is infection or whenever there is a kind of a pathological reasons, but here only increase in temperature will be there. When you will say as a pyrexia, and when the temperature above the levels of thing, when you will call pyrexia. More than, then what is the normal body temperature? That is 6.5 to 37. If it reaches 37 or more than 37.5, you call it as pyrexia. And if when you say pyrexia, when there is a pathological origin. Okay, here uncouplers in the sense when they produce too much of heat because of the pathological origin, you call pathological uncouplers. Okay, yes. Now the respiratory quotient is important, means remember this single line, respiratory quotient. If they ask you for carbohydrates, remember it is 1. Okay, for protein, remember 0.8, and for fats, remember 0.7. So respiratory quotient of carbohydrate 1, and your protein 0.8, and your fat C, fat F, and remember 7. Okay, now so there is a 3 syndromes regarding your liver disorders which you would have been studying in your medicine purpose also. Okay, I hope you remember this in pediatrics as well. Have you heard about Crigler-Najjar syndrome? What is the deficiency of enzyme in Crigler-Najjar syndrome? Yeah, UDP. Clear. Yes. Deficiency of UDP glucuronide transferase. Even though you don't wanted to know the detailed part of what is Crigler-Najjar syndrome, at least remember the name of the deficiency. So deficiency of UDP glucuronide transferase, that is nothing but Crigler-Najjar syndrome. What about MRP2 deficiency? That is multiple resistant protein 2 deficiency causes Dubin. Yes. Have you read in pediatrics? If you have been seeing the enzyme UDP, then what is the syndrome? Crigler-Najjar syndrome. In Dubin-Johnson syndrome, what is the deficiency of enzyme? What is the deficiency of Dubin-Johnson syndrome? MRP2, that is multiple resistant protein. Now, in deficiency of conjugated bilirubin, see, once the unconjugated bilirubin is converted into conjugated bilirubin. Now there is an enzyme deficiency which causes conjugated bilirubin levels to be decreased. So that syndrome is called as, remember the name, that is Rotor syndrome. Okay, That is Rotor syndrome. That is very important. So three syndromes now you would be remembering in your mind. What is that? Crigler-Najjar syndrome, Dubin-Johnson syndrome, Rotor syndrome. Very, very important. Please keep it in your mind. Now, so some important porphyrias, you have to keep it in your mind. Either if you remember the enzyme's name, that's fine. If you don't remember also, but still keep the names ahead. So deficiency of UPG3 decarboxylase causes porphyria cutanea tarda. So what is the deficiency in porphyria cutanea tarda? UPG3 decarboxylase. So if UDP, then your syndrome is Crigler-Najjar syndrome. If UDP, then your deficiency syndrome is UDP. Crigler-Najjar. If UPG, then no one is going to ask you to explain the whole over abbreviation, even though it's not important to know here abbreviation. Wherever it is important, we will be abbreviating it. Okay. So porphyria cutanea tarda, which is the most common porphyria. Remember, which is the most common porphyria? Porphyria cutanea tarda. And if suppose there is a deficiency of protoporphyrinogen oxidase, then that is called as variegate porphyria. Okay. Just remember the name, variegate porphyria. And if ferrochelatase, ferro means it is regarding iron. So it is called as erythropoietic porphyria. So can you able to differentiate between three? UPG3 deficiency, porphyria, UPG3 deficiency, UDP deficiency, Crigler-Najjar syndrome. And ferrochelatase deficiency, ferro means iron. It regards your erythro. So erythropoietic porphyria. Remember, in erythro you have R in the sense. So always it is a kind of, sorry, RBC. Yeah, obviously RBC is there. This all of your porphyrias are autosomal dominant. Remember, only erythropoietic is X-linked recessive. X-linked recessive. I hope you know at least one or two questions will be there in your exam. Either it is autosomal dominant or recessive. So please make a table of what is autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, X-linked recessive, and the next over else. Okay, at least just read once or make a mnemonic for that and read once. Here I have given you erythro, R. So X-linked recessive. Remember that. The rest of all of your porphyrias are autosomal dominant. I'm writing it here. All are AD autosomal dominant, and rest of the everything is autosomal dominant, and one is your X-linked recessive. That is erythropoietic porphyria. So which is the most common porphyria? Porphyria cutanea tarda. And most common acute porphyria? Have you heard about AIP? What is AIP? AIP. Acute intermittent porphyria. Okay, so most common acute porphyria is acute intermittent porphyria. Remember this, please. And most common porphyria in children. Most common porphyria in children. The same, your erythropoietic porphyria. Okay. UDP deficiency, Crigler-Najjar syndrome. UPG3 deficiency, porphyria. And which is the most common porphyria? Cutanea tarda. Which is the most common acute porphyria? Acute intermittent porphyria. And which is the most common porphyria in children? That's it. That's it. Now there is a simple question. See, after weaning off and addition of fruits to his or her diet, whoever it is, an infant had frequent episodes of vomiting and tremors. Reducing sugars were present in urine, but glucose is absent. Most likely diagnosis. Why and how? Okay, fruits. Fructose. Yeah. There is a fructose intolerance here. Yeah. Why C? G6PD. Fine. So there is a fructose intolerance for this baby. How can we find this? Because whenever the baby is taking fruits, whenever they are adding a fruits to his diet, which means a kind of a sugar, it's a reducing sugar, right? Which is having a free functional group. So as that these all are coming out, rest of the absorption, there is no tolerable thing for the baby to digest it over and getting to breaking down. So everything is coming out in the urine purpose. So everything is get reabsorbed. So that's the reason the infant is having episodes of vomiting, tremors, and that is because of his diet of fruits. If in turn there is a question which is having milk here, then your answer should be lactose intolerance. Simple. Fruits means that comes under sugar. So fructose intolerance, hereditary fructose intolerance, which is an answer of aldolase B deficiency. Okay. So what happens if G6PD deficiency? Yes. It causes G6PD. This enzyme is present in G6PD enzymes. Okay, G6PD enzyme is absent in muscles. Yes, it is present obviously in your liver and it is absent in your muscles. Clear? So that's the reason. That's the reason this patient will be having G6PD means anemia. They will be having anemia and sometimes they would have hypoglycemia. Okay. Now, the next thing, this is about your, what this is about. I hope you have not read biochem. Lipoproteins. Okay. Either if you know the whole detail about lipoproteins, that doesn't matter. 3 times this question was repeated, especially ApoB100 was repeated multiple times. What does this ApoB100 says? Sorry? ApoB100. ApoB100. ApoB100 says. Many times this ApoB100 was repeated. Remember, always ApoA1 means lipoprotein. There is a name for this, ApoA1. This says about your HDL. That is your high density lipoproteins. Remember, it says about HDL and it activates which enzyme? It activates LCAT, that is lecithin carnitine acyl transferase. Remember this, please. There is a big cycle for that. So if you don't remember cycle, leave it. At least remember this tabular column. Okay. So ApoA1 that shows about HDL, high density lipoproteins. Remember, ApoA1 means A for A. A is the first alphabet. The biggest lipoprotein is HDL. Done. So it is going to activate an enzyme that is called as LCAT. So if suppose LCAT is deficient, what is the disease that is going to be there? A syndrome that is named as LCAT deficiency. There is a syndrome. Let's write anyone please. If suppose LCAT deficiency is there, the syndrome does the name as okay. I'll say what is the name of the syndrome if suppose anyone says. Okay, ApoB48. B, remember first B for C. C means CM, that is chylomicrons. So if they ask about you chylomicrons, then the apolipoprotein is B48. Remember, if B100 they are saying, then that is about LDL, that is low density lipoproteins. Remember, A1 means HDL, high density lipoproteins. B48, B for C, chylomicrons, and B100, LDL, low density lipoproteins. Remember that. So if they ask you about ApoC2 and ApoA2 or C3, you have to keep it in your mind about LPL, that is lipoprotein phospholipase. So C2 is going to activate it, activated, and A2 and C3 is going to inhibit. This is the very important difference. You have to keep it in your mind. Clear? If they ask about A1, then your answer should be high density lipoprotein. If LDL, then LDL. B100 LDL. B48 chylomicrons. Very important. And about A2 or C3, if we are speaking, A2 or C3 means they are going to inhibit. C2 activate. They both are going to activate and inhibit whom? LPL, that is lipoprotein phospholipase. Important. So there is an importance about lipoprotein A and lipoprotein X. Means there is a two things, right? We have read now. A is for HDL, B is for your chylomicron, and there is a division for LDL and LPL. That's it. So I hope this number is clear for you. Clear, right? No any confusions, right? Because remember, this is the final time that you're going to see this again and again. Because in rest of the time, in the next till the 20-25 days, you're just going to revise the pages, not in depth or not in detail. So whenever in these revision sessions in AFMG, whatever you're attending, be thorough in that. Next time you're not going to read it in depth or in a very detailed manner. You don't have time. Actually, you're not having time, right? There's no time. And don't try to collect this notes, that from it means LMR. Everyone will give LMR. It doesn't mean like everything you have to know. Even the person who returned the textbook of whatever the subject is, he don't know anything. Matlab, he cannot, simplify everything. Whatever LMR you have it in your hand, and whatever notes you have read as of now, and give those efforts in this 20 days. That's going to help you. Clear? Please don't, because as such now social media is so active in Telegram and YouTube and whatever it is, they are posting whatever they want. The thing, whichever we are doing is everything is from your notes. You cannot find extra or conflict-free thing in revision. The reason is this is last time of your revision. We should not want it to confuse you by giving new things, new inputs. New inputs all have been given in your revision before. Now the inputs whichever we are doing is for revising it, remembering it. Now giving new things, zero use, literally. So we are revising it, and that's the reason everything is from your notes, not apart from notes. And the questions are there, obviously, which gives you an idea. That's it. Clear? Shall we continue? See, in lipoprotein A, what you have to remember is, whenever lipoprotein A levels get increased, means there is a risk of CAD. What is it? Yes, and if suppose there is a lipoprotein X levels that is increased, there is a risk of cholestasis. They can give you anything regarding cholestasis, either a CBD or CBD stones or anything regarding cholestasis. Even they can connect indirectly with surgery, and they can ask you which is the apolipoproteins that is involved. And remember, X is for your cholestasis and A is for your CAD, or any kind of CADs are responsible for this. Now, these are the diseases and syndromes which have given collectively everything. Sorry? Yes. Yes. About? हाँ. कौन सी deficiency? LCAT. So what is the answer? Here is the answer. You can see those and say which is LCAT deficiency. Any idea? LCAT deficiency. Lecithin, carnitine, acyltransferase. So, okay, fine. Zellweger syndrome is nothing but, have you heard about peroxisomes? What is the importance of peroxisomes? Huh? Peroxisomes. What is the function of peroxisomes? Physiology. Cell physiology. Huh? What is the function of peroxisomes? Divya? Oxidation is there, but what kind of an oxidation? Beta oxidation is separate, alpha oxidation is separate, gamma oxidation is separate. So, alpha oxidation. Okay. I'll lock. Yes. Let anyone say. See, there is lipid. Yeah, even fatty acids means obviously lipids will be there. But what kind of an oxidation? Peroxisms have been done. Everything done. Fine. So have you noticed about VLCFA, which means very long chain fatty acids? If there is any deficient in your peroxisomes, any deficiency in your peroxisomes that causes this very long chain fatty acids to be deficient, this causes Zellweger syndrome. Remember Zellweger syndrome? That is defective because of peroxisome deficiency function. Okay, remember please, Zellweger syndrome. And Norim's disease and fish eye disease are both because of deficiency of LCAT. Okay, both are the disease of LCAT deficiency syndrome. So LCAT deficiency causes Norim's disease and fish eyes disease. You can search in your notes. Everything is in your notes. Clear? Yeah. Tangier's disease. Tangier's disease is because of Tangier's disease means it is because of a deficiency of ABC. What is ABC? ATP. Yes, yes, very right. ATP binding Kessel protein deficiency. Just remember the names of the syndrome or the enzyme. Okay. ABC deficiency causes Tangier's disease, and very long chain fatty acid deficiency causes Zellweger syndrome. See, there is a three main lipoproteinemia deficiency that is there. First type, second type, and third type, in which your lipoproteins are deficient. Okay, so your lipoproteins are deficient first in LPL, your lipoprotein phospholipase deficiency, then that is called as familial hyperchylomicronemia, where CM is high. Who is CM? Chylomicrons are higher. If chylomicrons are higher, then that comes under type 1. Remember type 1, chylomicrons are higher, familial hyperchylomicronemia. Remember that, please. So in this, what happens? Here there is a complication or a clinical feature you have to remember, that is pancreatitis. Remember pancreatitis. And the second one is hypercholesterolemia. If cholesterol levels are higher, which lipoproteins will be higher? If in our body cholesterol levels are higher, LDL, that is means unnecessary cholesterol in our body, means LDL will be deficient, so that enzyme which is causing this will be making familial hypercholesterolemia, means the receptor of LDL will be deficient, so that it causes too much of levels of low density lipoproteins, causing familial hypercholesterolemia. That is type 2. What is type 1? Chylomicronemia. Type 2, cholesterolemia. Both will be higher in both of the terms. In type 3, there is a beta lipoproteinemia. Remember, what is about type 3? A beta lipoproteinemia. There is two diseases, Hunter's disease and Hurler's disease. Yes, in that will be there Hunter's disease and Hurler's disease. You have to be knowing the name of those enzymes. Yes, yes. Iduronate. First, in Hunter's disease, there will be deficiency of iduronate sulfatase. Yes. Hunter's disease means deficiency of Hunter's disease. Deficiency of Hunter's iduronate sulfatase. Here there will be deficiency of iduronidase enzyme. Hunter's, Hurler's. Hunter's is deficiency of iduronate sulfatase. In hurlers, it is iduronidase. That's it. Sulfatase means go with hunter. Hurlers means go with iduronidase. Type 3. Sorry? Huh? LPL receptors. And sometimes lipoprotein levels will be high. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is the part 1 which we have left, and part 2, if you want, if we will be seeing about vitamins, their deficiencies, enzymes, cofactors, inhibitors, everything we will complete in this. Fine. So very few things, the repeated ones, and the idea about that will be given for you. Quickly, we will be seeing this clear. Starting with the iron, the content of the protein that is being in iron. Yes. Sorry. Yes, in hemoglobin, then remember hemoglobin, myoglobin, and I hope you remember about the complexes, right? In ETC, electron transport chain, you have ferrous sulfide, iron. So in your complex 1, in your complex 2, and in your complex 3. So which is the stain that shows iron? Yes, Prussian blue is the stain that shows your iron content, remember. Okay, which is the marker of iron overload? Figlo? Marker of iron overload. Marker of iron. TIBC. Transfer in iron binding capacity, the levels will be increased. Please remember, this is the marker for iron overload, that levels will be increased. Okay. Absorption, if iron absorption have to be increased, what you have to add in it? Yes, vitamin C. Vitamin C levels increases the absorption of iron. And which decreases the absorption of iron? And that is present in the substance of hepcidin, right? If hepcidin gets increased, then that will be, if hepcidin gets increased, that decreases the absorption of iron, right? Remember what is the protein content? First of all, hemoglobin, myoglobin, and first 3 complexes, not only 4 or 5, first 3 complexes. Okay. About the stain, remember Prussian blue stain. And the marker, if they ask, then your answer should be TIBC, and that levels will be increased. Remember about the absorption that is increased by, yes, vitamin C, and decreased by your hepcidin. Okay, clear? See what is this? Sorry? Yeah, it is also there. And then here, regarding your iron content. This is a picture that is showing bronze. Bronze kind of a, simply bronze. Yes, it's a diagnosis of hemochromatosis. Yes, in which there will be too much of iron pigmentation present in your skin. This comes in bronze skin. Okay. There will be iron that is deposited in your liver that causes cirrhosis, right? If it is deposited in your liver, it causes cirrhosis. If it is deposited in your pancreas, then it causes bronze diabetes. Why? Because it disturbs your insulin levels. If it deposits in your heart, then it causes one important, most common cardiac complication of hemochromatosis. You would have been studying in your medicine as well. An important, most common cardiac means important, most common clinical feature of a cardio disease in hemochromatosis. Remember, restrictive cardiomyopathy, very important, restrictive cardiomyopathy. Okay, this thing will be there, and also it affects your metacarpals. Okay, these things you should never forget, that causes in your hemochromatosis. Okay, clear? Now, so this eye shows the KF rings, this is in your, see the rings that is present over here, the deposition of copper causing KF rings. What is the disease here? Wilson's disease. Yes, Wilson's disease. And this disease is because of deficiency or increase in level of copper. Increase in level of copper. Increase deposition. Deposition. No metabolism and it gets deposited in all other organs. Yes, yes. So that too, that makes in your Wilson's disease, and it is a kind of a disease in which ATP7A or 7B disease. So which is ATP7A? Yes. Remember, ATP7A is nothing but Menkes disease. That is due to deficiency of Menkes disease is due to deficiency of why iron? Menkes disease is due to deficiency of option. Okay, that question is there for sure. I'll be giving you option. Okay. Menkes disease. So you have said that increase in level of copper deposition causes Wilson's disease. So deficiency, excessive bilirubin, copper, deficiency of copper. Remember like this, increase in copper causes Wilson's disease. Deficiency in copper causes Menkes disease. And what is the ATP that is deficient here? ATP7A. Remember this, please. Okay, never ever forget. So copper is a cofactor for two enzymes. Copper is a cofactor for two enzymes. Remember the enzyme names, please, and their clinical part also. I'm giving you a clue. Very right. And that is in your albinism. Remember, tyrosinase. And one more enzyme is your lysyl oxidase. Remember these two things, please, because cofactor have been asked multiple times in your exams. At least they'll ask you about copper or zinc or molybdenum sometimes. Okay. The two enzymes in cofactor for copper is tyrosinase. If that is deficient, then that is going to cause albinism. Second one is lysyl oxidase. Now, Menkes disease is due to deficiency of, never ever forget this. This is a repeated question. Menkes disease is due to deficiency of copper. If there is deficiency of zinc, then it causes yes, ectodermatitis enterohepatica. So what happens in ectodermatitis enterohepatica? Yeah, there will be rashes and dermatitis, kind of an infection and inflammation in your mouth and in your anal region and also in your all over body. I have showed you the picture in the last session. Clear? So there is a deficient of the gene defect, that is ZIP4. Remember this. In acrodermatitis enterohepatica, there is a ZIP4 that is deficient. So what is the thing you are going to give here? What is the treatment? Zinc supplement. Yes. So about zinc, few things you have to know. It is being given for mainly in pediatrics. When you will give this? It's an anti-diarrheal medication. Remember. Always when you give ORS or whatever to the pediatric age group or a newborn, you will add zinc. Here. So it is an anti-diarrheal thing. And if we speak about zinc, what is one more importance of zinc? One more importance of zinc. Sorry? Yeah. It's also a function, but important thing is it's a steroid receptor, remember. Do you know that zinc deficiency causes hypogonadism? Okay. Steroid receptor. Remember, it is a steroid receptor that causes any deficiency, may cause infertility or sterile condition of hypogonadism as well. Okay. So in zinc, this is a cofactor of which enzyme? Cofactor of, in antidiarrheal medication, there is a dose of 20 milligrams per day. Which is a cofactor of enzyme zinc? CA. What is CA? What is an enzyme CA? Acetazolamide, dorzolamide. CA enzyme. Carbonic anhydrase. Clear? Carbonic anhydrase will work only with the presence of the cofactor of zinc. That is very important. Carbonic anhydrase. Okay? Clear? What are the three important points you have to remember about zinc? It's an antidiarrheal medication, 20 milligrams per day, and it is a steroid receptor. Then one more important thing, this is a mineral that is being given for stabilization of, yes, stabilization of insulin. Clear? Very, very important. Stabilization of insulin is done by zinc. Potentiation of insulin is done by chromium. Clear? Potentiation means the action level can be increased. Any action of insulin levels can be increased by chromium. Chromium potentiating in the sense any kind of increase in insulin's action, we can give chromium. So these are the important things. Antidiarrheal medication, if they ask, then your answer should be zinc. It's a steroid receptor. Then it causes stabilization of insulin, and it's a cofactor for carbonic anhydrase. Important. So some other features, importantly, we have to remember in view of selenium. Selenium toxicity causes Keshan's disease or Keshenbach's disease. Selenium toxicity. I'm not asking about selenium deficiency. Yes. Toxicity means? Toxicity means Keshenbach. Okay. Selenium deficiency causes Keshan's disease. Keshan's disease, remember. And in Keshenbach's disease, there will be hair loss. There can be one of the clue, and there will be brittle nails. Two things, keep it in your mind. Okay. Selenium toxicity means the disease name is toxicity. Keshenbach's disease. Deficiency, Keshan's disease. I hope you know this question has been multiple many times. Many times. Okay. So about calcium, few things. Many things are there to remember about calcium. Brittle nails. Okay. In total amount of calcium in body and the serum calcium levels, what would be your answer? Means total amount of calcium means it will be in kilogram. Remember 1 to 1.5 kilogram. In serum calcium levels, remember it is 9 to 11 milligrams per deciliter. So it varies a very lot. If they speak about total calcium, the weight will be different. Serum calcium level means the electrolytes that is present in your blood, that's of 9 to 11 milligram per deciliter. So about purine synthesis, something to discuss about. Okay. Purine synthesis will be happening in all over the body except 3 places. What are all the places? Purine synthesis that doesn't happen there. Yes, RBCs, then yes, then platelets. Then where it will happen? RBC, WBC, and brain. Now I can give you a clue. Whenever there is an exception and brain is an option, go for brain. Blindly go for brain for an exception question. Okay, fine. So it's for just a purpose when you don't know the answer. And if you know the answer, please don't go for brain. Okay, right. So the rate limiting step of purine synthesis. I have already said you what is the rate limiting step of purine synthesis. Rate limiting step of purine synthesis is PRPP gate. Remember, at least remember this. Even though if you remember abbreviation or not, remember the rate limiting enzyme PRPP gate. That means phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate glutamine aminotransferase. Simple. PRPP gate is the rate limiting enzyme for purine synthesis. There is a product that is called as IMP dehydrogenase. Why this enzyme is important means this regards your pharmacological part. This is inhibited by a main immunomodulator that is called as azathioprine. Okay, azathioprine. So what is azathioprine? Yes, it's an immunomodulator that is going to inhibit. Yes. Please remember these things in your mind. Never ever forget. Azathioprine is an immunomodulator that is going to inhibit them. So here I have given you a severe combined immunodeficiency disease where in which after that purine metabolism will not be there. If purine goes on higher levels, then what will be the catabolism then? Uric acid. Those levels will be higher. That is why the reason it causes gout. So that is what we are going to see now. In severe combined immunodeficiency disease, there is a deficiency of an enzyme. Deficiency of an enzyme that is called as adenine deaminase. Remember this enzyme. Why? Because whenever purine is getting down, it is going to produce uric acid, right? Urine is going to produce uric acid. In between, they will be having hypoxanthine, xanthine, then uric acid. In that, there is an enzyme that is called as adenine deaminase. So if that is deficient, so how uric acid will form? So that will be a problematic in this condition, severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. The name itself says immunodeficiency disorder means both of your lymphocytes like B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, and all of your immunological functions are disrupted. Okay, that is severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome or a disease. I hope you have been studied much more in pathology as well. Yes. Now, some clinical features in this picture, you have to see this and say me what is the syndrome that is being given here. See, there is a possibility of gout as such. You can see this, right? What? There is a deposition of uric acid which causes inflammation, especially which joint is involved. Which joint is involved? Yes. Greater toe, especially the first and second greater toe. Greater toe and the second toe. Yes, why there is a confusion? Greater toe and the second toe will be involved. Either the proximal joints will also be involved sometimes. Okay, so that will be the reason. Because of increase in uric acid levels, there will be formation of renal calculi as well. The first, what is this? Can you able to see? There will be self mutilation. The newborn, no, the children in this deficient disorder will able to eat their fingers as well. And there will be mental retardation. I'm giving you all the clues. What is this? It would be, there will be a possibility of microcephaly as well. It's a progressive disorder called as Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Clear? It's a Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Means these are the clue words. They will be giving a self-mutilation, mental retardation, there will be microcephaly. Sometimes there is a self-limiting or a progressive disease. What is a deficiency here? This for sure you should be saying, because Dr. Omkar have been saying multiple times in pathology chanting. Deficiency of HGPRTase deficiency, which means hypoxanthine guanine pyrorobosyl transminase deficiency. Abbreviation is not important. HGPRTase deficiency, Lesch-Nyhan syndrome, self-mutilation will be there along with the mental retardation, and microcephaly will also be there. Many things are there. Along with that, can you able to see this formation defects? Right? During when they have been eating, or then when they have been craving of eating their own fingers, they will eat sometimes they even the lips over, even the muscles. That kind of a craving they will have. Okay, so kind of. Now, so what is this X-ray diagnostics that is showing? Osteochondritis, osteoarthritis. Valgus virus. See, this is a picture that is also a kind of a gout in which chondrocalcinosis will be there. Chondrocalcinosis means calcium pyrophosphate deposition in between the joints that causes chondrocalcinosis, which also causes in your pseudo gout. Remember, chondrocalcinosis, pseudo gout. So, can you able to see this normal one and this abnormal one? How much space are there? There will be a deposition which even we cannot able to see in X-ray part. Okay, pseudo gout. Clear? Now, and this radiological picture is showing why? Sorry. Yes, swelling. By swelling, you can say, and what is the sign? Means appearance. We can say see here. An appearance that is being shown here. Yeah, toffee is there. Toffee means there is a deposition of your extra uric acid levels, which causes swelling. And this appearance, it's a gouty arthritis. Everything is right. Toffee is there. And what is this appearance? Gouty arthritis. What is this appearance? What is the appearance that is shown? Any appearance, can you able to find it here? Can you able to see this? No. Ulta 3 will be in quotation of iota, not here. Here it is nothing but rat bite appearance. Okay. Aisa kaisa, like this. Can you able to see here? Pura means totally it was a bone, but here some part was left. Okay. You will not believe in hospitals and all, these rats are eating the diabetic wound nowadays. So diabetic wound they will eat. See here there is a full structure of the bone in which in between the part is left that is showing rat bite appearance. Yes, sign or the appearance you can see. Okay, this will be seen in gouty arthritis. Okay. Now, so this I hope you can able to find in gout whenever you will be having a fine needle like crystals you can find where in your synovial fluid. While you check the synovial fluid, you can see fine needle like appearance because of uric acid deposition. This too happens in gouty arthritis, gout, especially because in arthritis, what happens? All the uric acid deposition is there. Once if you check the synovial fluid levels in microscopy, you can able to see this fine sticky appearance that causes inflammation. Okay, fine needle-like appearance. If we speak about calcium pyrophosphate, where we have seen calcium, means chondrocalcinosis, it causes pseudo gout. That's the difference between both. Now, there is a question which asks like cofactor of xanthine oxidase. Molybdenum, very important. The cofactor of xanthine oxidase is molybdenum, very important. And zinc, the cofactor of the enzyme is carbonic anhydrase. Carbonic anhydrase. And for copper, tyrosinase, two things we have seen already. One is your tyrosinase and lysyl oxidase. Molybdenum, xanthine oxidase. Which is the drug that is going to inhibit xanthine oxidase? Yes, very right. Allopurinol. Remember allopurinol. And drug of choice for gout? Drug of choice. Same. And for acute gout? NSAIDs. Especially which NSAIDs? Indomethacin or naproxen also you can give. In your chronic gout, colchicine. Very right, it is colchicine. Allopurinol is important, remember that. And selenium, even though selenium is not having any cofactor, but it is very important for absorption of a main vitamin, that is vitamin E. Okay, selenium is very important for the absorption of which vitamin? Vitamin E. If vitamin E is deficient, then which is a very important, sorry? Yeah, antioxidants means free radical injury will be there that causes wound healing, poor wound healing kind of a features. So remember selenium as well. So few things you have to keep it in your mind regarding nucleic acid part. Remember fast and fast. A synthesis of strand of DNA whenever it is made. Remember what is the direction? Pi dash to 3 dash direction. Okay, pi dash to 3 dash direction. If suppose there is a restriction of fragments. Restriction of fragments means which method you're going to use? Electrophoresis. Remember gel electrophoresis. Okay. And this question they have asked the fundamental unit of coding for DNA synthesis. Which is the fundamental unit of coding for DNA synthesis? Cistron. Very important fundamental unit for coding of DNA synthesis. And about Okazaki fragments. I hope you have heard it. Okazaki fragment for DNA fragment will be RNA's head. In the head, it will be getting attached and then it will be getting fragmented. Okay. Now, microsatellite sequence means micro short. There is a short sequence of DNA. This is a few clue words that I've been giving you just to find it out the answers from nucleic acid. So the idea of these one-liners are obviously you're going to quit nucleic acid, I know, but still at least you should know the one-liners. Clear? So protein binds to DNA. Whenever the binding happens, the one important mineral that is needed is zinc. So protein, whenever it binds to DNA, it needs zinc. Protein synthesis means obviously you need ribosomes, especially it happens in ribosomes. In cell membrane organelles, protein synthesis has been done by endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, that is important. Either it happens in smooth or rough. And in smooth, what is the function? Steroids. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which is a lipid oral steroids. Now, and function of helicase. Helicase means it's going to unwind the DNA. Helix means it have to separate the DNA. It have to make for a replication of DNA. If suppose this helicase is deficient, deficiency of helicase, what is the defect or what is the syndrome that is going to happen? Yeah. Unwinding will not happen. And the syndrome is Bloom syndrome. Remember just the name. Okay. Bloom syndrome. Bloom syndrome. If helicase is deficient, if the unwinding is not there, it's Bloom syndrome. Okay. So if we are speaking about protein synthesis, one enzyme you have to keep it in your mind. Amino acyl tRNA synthetase. Remember amino acyl tRNA synthetase. Remember that as well. Now, amber codon means it's a kind of a termination codon. Remember amber codon, termination codon, which is the initiating codon? AUG. And which is the codon for methionine? Which is the codon for methionine? AUG. Okay. Codon for initiation and the codon for methionine. Both the same, AUG. Now, coming fast to the chromatin levels, a few things about remember for you in chromatin, histones. Two things. In histone, this question is asked, and in chromatin, maybe they can ask, and but that is important. See, in chromatin means the DNA is going to bind up and is kept inside a structure that is called as chromatin. That is how they are. So that has been folded and kept inside a fixed pocket kind of a thing called chromatin. And there are two things. One, you will be seeing about facultative from heterochromatin, and one will be constitutive chromatin. Why I have been rounded is F and C? Because this is going to give you an example If they ask you facultative example, then your means facultative chromatin example, then your answer is female X chromosome. Okay, female X chromosome. Clear? And if they ask you about constitutive, then the answer is centromere or telomere. Clear? Clear? See, constitutive, centromere or telomere. Facultative, F, female X chromosomes is an example of your chromatin, how the DNA structure have been kept inside. Then, now speaking about histone, which is the amino acid present in histone? Please don't say I don't know. Histone. Histone, there is an importance of two amino acids. What is that? Lysine and, yes, lysine and arginine. Remember two histones, and how much times of a turns it takes? 1.75 turns it takes. Even though it's not important, but please remember, at any cost, we should not leave the easiest question. Everything or your marks which crosses 150 depends upon how you do the easiest question. It doesn't mean how you do the difficult question. Difficult question is those for who have been already well prepared, who are about to prepare, and our just aim was to cross 150. That's what we all wanted to help. Clear? But that depends upon the easy questions which you're going to do. Okay. Now, in DNA replication, does in which phase this occurs? Which phase? S phase. Very right. S phase is the phase where the DNA replication occurs. Remember the interphase, that is S phase. Now speaking about this DNA polymerase, some process in a very few things we can give you is DNA polymerase 1, 2, 3 is there. I hope you know that, right? DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3 is there. Another name of DNA polymerase is Corienberg enzyme. Okay. So if they are speaking about polymerization, what is the direction of polymerization? 5' to 3'. If proofreading, then the direction is same. It happens in same manner, 5' to 3'. But if you see in DNA polymerase 3, polymerization happens in 5' to 3', but proofreading happens in 3' to 5'. This one changes. Okay, keep it in your mind. This changes. Now, speaking about DNA polymerase 2, one thing you have to keep it in your mind, that is repair. Reading and repair is the important function of DNA polymerase 2. Remember, reading and repair is the important function of DNA polymerase. Reading and repair is the function of DNA polymerase 2. Very important. Now, so what is this picture shows? What is this picture shows? Very bad. Fine. What is this picture shows? Sorry? The faces. This picture shows a diagnosis of xeroderma. Yes. Xeroderma pigmentosum. What is this? The defect here it is. The defect will be in there. It forms thymidine dimers. Because usually A should be combining with adenine, should be combining with thymine. ATGC, right? With double bond and triple bond. Adenine should be combining with thymine with double bond. Guanine should be combining with cytosine with triple bond. So if suppose any kind of a UV rays problem, if a person with UV rays or sunlight defect, thymine will be combined with thymine, causing thymine dimers. It's a kind of a mismatch defect. Okay, mismatch defect causing xeroderma pigmentosum. Remember, there will be a kind of pigments over there in face, even that can cause an ocular manifestations. Even that can cause ocular manifestation. Remember. Now, there is some mitochondrial DNA mutation defects. NARP. What does it mean, NARP? Not. Wow. So I hope you have been knowing all these four things. N is about neuropathy. A, remember ataxia. And I hope you know RP in your ophthalmological knowledge, that is retinitis pigmentosa. What is NARP? Say me this. N for neuropathy. A for ataxia. RP is for retinitis pigmentosa. What is this disorder? Mitochondrial DNA mutation disorder. Very clear. So LHON is nothing but liver hereditary optic neuropathy. Okay, liver hereditary optic neuropathy. No one is going to ask you what is this disease and detail about this disease. Just you have to know it's a mitochondrial DNA defect disease. Okay, and MELAS is nothing but mitochondrial, or you can say there will be encephalopathy. E for encephalopathy, and LA is for lactic acidosis. Okay, lactic acidosis, and S is for stroke. What is MELAS? Mitochondrial encephalopathy, in which LA stands for lactic acidosis and S stands for stroke. Simple. And in Mills, it means it's a Leigh syndrome. Okay, if they ask you any of your mitochondrial diseases, any of you, remember it's a maternal disease. It's a maternal inherited disease. Clear? M for M, remember, all of your mitochondrial defect diseases are maternally inherited. Maternally inherited disease. That causes Mills maternally inherited Leigh. Clear? Now, so what is this that is shown here? Yeah, it's anemia. Why? Small. Sickle cell anemia. Can you see sickle cells? I cannot see sickle cells. क्यों मेगालोब्लास्टिक हो सकता है? A specific thing you have to find here, no, for megaloblastic anemia. Okay, Haynes bodies are seen in G6PD. Haynes bodies is a kind of a bite cells like this. Bite cells, Haynes bodies in G6PD deficiency. But what is the body that is seen here? This is Howell-Jolly bodies. Howell-Jolly bodies. And what is this being seen? Where it will be seen? Which anemia? Howell-Jolly bodies. Yes. What's the doubt? Your diagnosis is right. And what is this? That you have to think about. Megaloblastic anemia. Clear? Howell-Jolly bodies and Haynes bodies should be different. Two things. Now, if suppose I'm saying you about HBS. What is HBS? In which you will see sickle cell anemia. Okay. So in the sickle cell anemia, which is the most common cause of osteomyelitis? Which is the most common cause of osteomyelitis in sickle cell anemia? No, which is the most common cause of osteomyelitis in this sickle cell anemia? Most common cause of osteomyelitis in sickle cell anemia. Sorry? Remember simple thing about S. Salmonella. Okay? You know that, right? Staph, strep, then wow. Now remember, most common cause of osteomyelitis is in, if suppose in sickle cell anemia is there, then please remember salmonella. Okay, right. So Havel-Jolly bodies means the deficiency of anemia here is megaloblastic anemia. In Haynes bodies, which anemia will be there? G6P. A 2-week infant who is diagnosed with a urea cycle defect. Enzymatic analysis showed no activity for ornithine transcarbamylase. Molecular analysis revealed that the RNA product of the gene for OTC was identical to that of a control. Very right. Because just whenever you see the question, don't get panic over the question. Very simple question can be asked in any terms. RNA is simple northern blot. So southern blot will be for DNA, DOSA. And then one more thing. Western blot is for, that is for protein, pizza. And one more thing, flow cytometry. Now anyone answer? You said pizza, you said dosa, you said roti, and what for flow cytometry? Yes, and one more important disease that have been found out by flow cytometry. Flow cytometry. Yeah, thalassemia also. It's a kind of a hemoglobinuria. PNH. What is PNH? Yes, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. Even you can find your thalassemia as well. Okay. Hemoglobinuria. Right. So this question has also been asked. Remember northern blot, western blot, and southern blot. Okay. Now about fish. Fish in the sense fluorescence in situ hybridization. Okay. So this is not even important in view of biochem, but this is important in view of pathology. Very, very important. Either they can ask you anything regarding this, or they can ask you the activation of which gene. I hope you know how important gene is, right? So first thing, Burkitt's lymphoma. Remember, B is regarding your 8, that is 8:15, and B for C, that is showing the gene activation of c-Myc gene. Remember Burkitt's lymphoma, which is the translocation over there? T, that is for 8:14. B resembles 8. Remember 8:14, and that is for activation of c-Myc gene. Because Burkitt's B next to that C. Clear. You would never be forgetting. Now, mantle cell lymphoma. Mantle cell lymphoma means, you have to remember without N how you would be pronouncing it. Metal. Is that giving some sense? No, na? So remember N for 9. 9 is to 22. 9 is to T. That pronunciation you have to keep it in your mind. T for D, T for means N. That you have to remember it in your mind. That gives a translocation of D as well. D, B, C, D. Continuously you have to remember. B, C, D. Burkitt's lymphoma. C for that gene. D is for next disease, that is mantle cell lymphoma. Here simply you have to remember B, C, D. B is for Burkitt's lymphoma, that is c-Myc gene. D is for the next disease, which is the next disease that we know, mantle cell lymphoma. 9th translocation and D activation of gene. Now coming to follicular cell lymphoma, follicular F for 14. 14:18 is the translocation, and remember BCL2 is the gene. BCL2 comes in apoptosis or necrosis. It's an activating gene or inhibiting gene? Inhibiting or activating? Then say me any activating gene. Right. Whenever it ends in L, C, everything it comes in. Yes. Yeah. Acute myeloid leukemia, AML. What is the translocation that you have to remember? 15:17. You have to remember this as well, as I don't know any mnemonic for this. Remember, as it is 15:17. Translocation 15:17. In this Cre Du Chat syndrome and Williams syndrome, the chromosomal location is important. Cre Du Chat syndrome means chromosome 5p. Okay. And Williams syndrome is chromosome 7q. What is about Cre Du Chat syndrome? 5p. And about Williams syndrome, that is 7q. Remember both as well. Okay. Mnemonic. I think confusion हो रहा है. Remember for Williamson's, you know, I mean, I hope you know about Williamson Sons. It's a famous brand, right? Williamson Sons. Sons, remember 7. Okay, 7 means, yeah, remember that 7. Williamson's for 7. And rest of the 5 is your Cre Du Chat syndrome. You can remember that as this way, Cre Du. Do for 2. Cre Du is the third alphabet. 3 plus 2, 5. Yes. So Burkitt's lymphoma, B for 8. 8 is for 8 is to 14. Quickly. Burkitt's lymphoma. 8 is to 14. Which gene is activated? Yes. Mantle cell lymphoma? Yes. And then acute myeloid leukemia? 15:17. This is the one thing you have to remember directly. Rest of the everything have clues. So follicular cell lymphoma? 14 is to 18. Mantle cell lymphoma? 9 is to 22. And the gene is D. Yeah. So C is for Burkitt's lymphoma. Clear? No doubts, right? White spots, and this is being shown in the deficiency of A deficiency. Please remember, in A deficiency, there is something to remember. The deficiency causes nyctalopia, that is night blindness, and xerophthalmia, keratomalacia. High level of vitamin causes hypervitaminosis of A. Even sometimes it causes deficiency of vitamin A causes ocular hyperplasia. Remember that. So R is the thing you have to remember it in your mind. Why? Because retinoic acid, right? Then what is there? Retinoic acid, retinol, then retinol, right? So what is the importance of this retinol, everything? Retinoic acid is for growth, isn't it? Vitamin A, that is importance of retinoic acid, that is for growth. Retinol is for vision purpose, and retinol is for all. All means reproduce. Okay, reproduction function. Now, the receptor for vitamin E. Which is the receptor for vitamin E? Receptor for vitamin E. Anyone else has seen? Let's see. You can search and see me, or else you can see and see me. You have to find it as well and say me. In your notes, it is. Okay. Now remember this. RX. Yes. Retinoid. Yes. This is the receptor's name. Okay. So vitamin A is used in the treatment of one leukemia. Which leukemias? Which is actually named as ATRA. This is given in the treatment of AML. AML. What is AML? Acute myeloid leukemia, right? So in acute myeloid leukemia, which is the translocation? 15. Just now I told. 15:17. ADRA means all trans retinoic acid. Okay. All trans retinoic acid of vitamin A causing, means this is the treatment of acute myeloid leukemia, ADRA. Remember, A for A, acute myeloid leukemia, that is ADRA. Clear? Now, coming to next thing, I hope you know this as of your knowledge from PSN. This should be very sure and you should never confuse in this. And what about XN? N means N, that is showing about your night blindness. Remember, night blindness. And 1A is about your xerosis. Please, you can remember like this. Remember this B. B means white or spots. So the rest A will be showing your xerosis part. So conjunctival xerosis. If conjunctiva came first, next to that it is your cornea. So that comes in your X2 part, that is corneal xerosis. Okay. Now X3A regards your corneal ulceration, either keratomalacia. Remember, keratomalacia is for X3A. Okay, and also 1/3 will be affected. It is very in-depth means detail for you, but still remember X3A and B both is for corneal ulceration. But remember 1/3 if it is affected, then that is X3A. X3B is for half. Okay. Now XS, as you know, S is for your scar and F is for fundus. Very, very simple. And please remember these tables as well in view of PSM. Okay. Now, what is this shown here in the picture? Yes, vitamin D deficiency. What is the signs that have been shown here? Vitamin D deficiency, that is showing of rickets. And what is the first picture that is shown? This is nothing but genus valgus. Okay, genus valgus. And here, can you see this ring kind of a epiphysis? This is nothing but ring epiphysis. And this is nothing but your pelican spur. Have you heard about this in radiology? Pelican's spur. Sometimes in scurvy, vitamin C deficiency also you can see this. Now, a quick review of about deficiencies, everything. Apart from this, you should not read again your deficiencies except in your PSM. Please keep this as your final revision. Keep it in your mind always when you take book. This is my final revision. Directly I'm going to my exam. You're not having time literally to see it again. So vitamin D, what is the deficiency that's going to see? Rickets and osteomalacia. And for absorption, what all it is going to help for? Calcium and phosphate, important. And if it is too much, then it causes hardening of bones. If it is lost, then it causes softening of bones. And I hope you remember about rickets and osteomalacia. Now coming about vitamin E, and the names of vitamin D is important. D1 for cholecalciferol, right? Cholecalciferol. D2 ergocalciferol, and D3 cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol or calcitriol? What is D3? Sure. Clear. Cholecalciferol. But when you will say calcitriol, whenever during the synthesis of vitamin D, you will have calcitriol. Now, vitamin E, that is nothing but your tocopherol, right? Tocopherol, if that is deficient, you will have poor wound healing. As I said already, selenium is an important thing for absorption of your vitamin E. If that is important in antioxidant function, and it is also associated with Alzheimer's disease. Remember that. Regarding vitamin K, what is important? If that is deficient, it will cause bleeding disorder and hemorrhagic disease of newborn. Why hemorrhagic disease of newborn is there in vitamin K deficiency. Why? Because where does this vitamin K get synthesized? Liver. Vitamin K. All of your vitamins are getting synthesized. That is fine. That's in your liver. But main function where why it causes newborn hemorrhagic disease. Yeah, clotting factor, because as you all know, 2, 7, 9, 10 are the clotting factors which have been getting activated by vitamin K. That will not be activated when vitamin K is not there. But while during birth only there is a problem. Why? Because this is an yeah. Then all the clotting factors should be less. No, why this 2, 7, 9, 10 is only less? That's why 2, 7, 9, 10 is less. See, vitamin K is a vitamin that is being synthesized in intestinal flora. It's a flora kind of a, that flora will not be so matured in newborns. So it is a vitamin that is being in intestinal flora. Okay. So that's the reason whenever baby is born, they will give vitamin K injection for the first within a minute. And if it is too much, that causes thrombosis. What is the antidote for vitamin K? Antidote. Natural antidote and antidote for vitamin K. Yes. Yeah. Why there is a doubt for you? Antidote for vitamin K. It's a synthetic anticoagulant. Warfarin is a natural anticoagulant. Why there is a doubt? Two things. One is your warfarin and one more is your decumerol. And one is synthetic and one is natural. Okay, very simple. And now this picture shows tiger, angry tiger. Angry tiger. I'll write as an angry tiger. It is a tiger kind of a face showing disease in MRI picture. Okay, in MRI picture, in which disease you can able to see this? In which disease you can able to see this? Yes, but don't know the name of the disease. Now remember this tiger's face. While we are discussing about those deficiency in a tabular column, I'll be showing you that where it is. And especially this is because of which vitamin deficiency? Vitamin B5. Okay, pantothenic acid deficiency, it will be there. Now this cellulitis. Does it seem like cellulitis? It's so red. It's a burning feet syndrome. There is also a possibility of vitamin B5 deficiency. Clear? There is a burning feet syndrome. Okay. Now this is strawberry tongue or a kind of a magenta tongue, you can say, or a kind of a inflammation of your tongue, glossitis, it will be there. You can say it's a magenta tongue or a glossitis mode. Can you able to see the inflammation of the tongue? Yes. So where you will see strawberry tongue? Huh? One is your Kawasaki disease, then scarlet. Yes. Remember the 5 things in Kawasaki's disease. 5 things in Kawasaki. Yes. Strawberry tongue. Strawberry tongue. In the pediatric chanting, I'll be asking you the same. That is the problem. I'll ask you the question as well. So what is these being seen here? In this picture, we can able to see can you able to see this? This is called as corneal neovascularization. Okay. This is nothing but what you have said. Oh. This is a corneal neovascularization. Clear? Where you can, in which deficiency you can able to see this? In which vitamin you can able to see corneal neovascularization? Remember, please, vitamin B2. 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 Which is vitamin B2? Riboflavin. Remember, riboflavin, in which you can able to see this. Now, a collective thing. Simply, you have to keep it in your mind. Please remember, vitamin B1, that is thiamine, in which if deficiency causes Wernicke's encephalopathy or beriberi. Okay. Now, if there is an enzyme that is involved, they can ask you PDH. There is a complex in PDH where we will see this when lactic acidosis, lactate gets, there is a conversion of your pyruvate. You can see this PDH complex. There is an alpha ketoglutarate complex also, transcutulase enzyme also. If even though if you cannot able to read all the enzymes in the last minute revision during your exam, at least see this once. That's the main motto of this. Coenzyme is your same TPP, that is thiamine pyrophosphate. So importance is GOA. What is GOA in Wernicke's encephalopathy? Three things you have to keep it in your mind. GOA, global confusion. O for, sorry, yeah, A for ataxia and O for ophthalmoplegia. Remember, it is because of your vitamin B1. Yes, it's because of your vitamin B1 deficiency. GOBA, GOA, you can see in which disease? Wernicke's encephalopathy. And one more thing you can see, that is Korsakoff psychosis. Have you heard about it? Korsakoff psychosis. What is the importance of Korsakoff psychosis? Means this patient who is being deficient with vitamin B1, he will be forgetting something else and he will giving some false stories for whatever he have been forgetting. That is called as Korsakoff's psychosis. Okay. Now, sorry. Yeah, memory gap in which he will fill it with false stories. Now, vitamin B2, that is riboflavin, in which we have seen glossitis, a magenta tongue or a strawberry tongue, or a corneal vascularization. Remember the enzyme, that is dehydrogenase, and the coenzymes are FAD and FMN. If you would have been seeing in the cycles, everything is mentioned separately. Here, everything is collective. At last, you have to go through everything. That is important. And you can see chalosis and dermatitis. Dermatitis is also an important feature of vitamin B2 deficiency. Now coming to B3, what is B3? That is niacin. That deficiency causes pellagra. Same thing, dehydrogenase is an enzyme, and NAD is nicotine adenamine diamines. And Kesselcade neck appearance, the picture I have shown you already, it increases your HDL. Sometimes it causes hyperlipidemia, that deficiency. Now coming to vitamin B5, and this is the disease, Parts disease, where you can see tiger-like appearance in MRI. Okay, and that is a burning feet syndrome. Please remember which is vitamin B5, pantothenic acid. Okay, so means tiger appearance in MRI, and also the main importance of which enzyme? Synthesis of all the CoAs. In fatty acid synthesis, every CoAs you need this. B1, B2, B3, B5, but B5 is most important. Okay. Now, what is B6? Pyridoxine, right? And this deficiency causes also sideroblastic anemia, and pyridoxine lyl phosphate is the enzyme for this. And ALA synthase, AST, ALT, everything regards its coenzyme. Without pyridoxine, nothing is gonna work. And sometimes seizures in infants, homocystinuria. Why homocystinuria? In B6. All of them are a coenzyme in homocystinuria, B6, B9, cystathione, beta synthetase. Then final one, that is vitamin B7, that is called as biotin. What is the defect? When you take raw eggs, that will inhibit the absorption of this vitamin B7, causing hypoglycemia. Why? because vitamin B7 is important in gluconeogenesis. So if suppose it is deficient, that can cause hypoglycemia. Remember this table as well, and please try to at least go through once before you go for the exam, right? Now the final question, see here. Atherosclerosis involves the formation of lipid-rich plaques in the intima of arteries, which can narrow the coronary arteries. That leads to decreased blood flow, hypoxia of cardiac cells. So which of the following amino acid is known to be associated with this? What is the answer here? Yes, homocysteine. Why? Because I hope you remember in the last session, we have seen, yes, very right, in homocystinuria, we have seen a mnemonic that is called as PAD. I hope you remember, right? What is for P? P is for prematurity. A is for atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. And D is for DVT. Remember. I hope you remember this. DVT, atherosclerosis prematurity, and which atherosclerosis is important in view of homocystinuria. Okay, clear? Pheochromocytoma is a rare, usually a benign tumor that develops in chromaffin cells of adrenal gland. The most specific biomarker of this condition. Yeah, why? Yeah, it's a pheochromocytoma is a adrenal tumor where in which there is an increase in secretion of catecholamines, which means like epinephrine or epinephrine, and everything is higher, in which further that breakdown of these things causes vanillin mandelic aciduria. Okay, this vanillin mandelic acid deposition or the breakdown of too much of this means epinephrine and norepinephrine are producing more, that is getting breaking down more, that is in vanillin mandelic acid. Okay, so if suppose there is a problem in vitamin B12, then you can find it in methylmalonyl aciduria. Okay, methylmalonyl. In vitamin B6, then you will see in xanthanate. You will see it in xanthanate. Okay, clear? And B9, figlu, right? Histidine loading test. Figlu levels will be higher, in which you can say B9 is deficient. Now, few enzymes and coenzymes, many enzymes and many coenzymes are there. Means we cannot even concise it, but still this means this. You have to remember, very simple. Kinase means always remember ATP will be your coenzyme. And dehydrogenase, remember NAD or FAD. Carboxylase means remember B7. Trans-ketolase, remember. I hope you remember in vitamin B1 thiamine, we have seen in enzyme part, that is trans-ketolase. Very, very important thing. These all four have been repeated. These all four questions are repeated. B7, that is for carboxylase. Okay. Simple things about zinc, which we have discussed already. Molybdenum is important for yes, that is in ZOXO, that is xanthan oxide. Iron is an important in no, it's in all the complexes, that is 1, 2, and 3, and all of our myoglobin and hemoglobin. Copper is important for the cofactor of tyrosinase and LO lysyl oxidase. Calcium is important for everything, all the deposition, and vitamin D is also important for this calcium absorption, right? Final part to discuss. Almost we have covered all the topics. Clear? Km increases, but Vmax remains the same. What kind of an inhibition it is? Competitive or non-competitive? Competitive or non-competitive? Why? Are you right? Sure. 100%. Huh? Sorry? Then if suppose Vmax decrease, then Km it is remaining the same, then that is which is competitive and which is non-competitive. Kmax is increasing. Competitive and non-competitive inhibition, what it is given? Yes. Km increases, Vmax is same. Which kind of an inhibition it is? Competitive. And the kind which is given over here is non-competitive. Very simple. If I wanted to define it, it is more. But still remember these two things. Means in competitive inhibition, yes. In competitive means Km that is increased. And your Vmax is same. Please remember this at any cost. And here Vmax will be decreased and Km will be same. Km will be same. Some examples of enzymes are also there in competitive and non-competitive inhibition. Now I say you the enzyme's name, just you say me which is inhibiting it. HMGE-CoA reductase. Statins. Right? Is it so? Now the next thing is, I hope you know about dihydrofolate reductase, DHF. Dihydrofolate reductase is inhibited by, okay, the drug which you use in ectopic pregnancy. Drug of choice in ectopic pregnancy. Dexamethasone, my God. Misoprostol you will use in ectopic pregnancy. Methotrexate, my God. Misoprostol you're going to use in ectopic pregnancy. Please remember dihydrofolate reductase. This is all an example of competitive inhibitors. Okay, methotrexate. Then if I say for disulfiram, the drug this is going to inhibit is disulfiram inhibits which enzyme? Acetaldehyde dehydrogenase. Remember, acetaldehyde dehydrogenase. Now, if suppose there is one more, I can say cyanide. I already said you in the last session, cyanide inhibits CO. What is CO? Carbon monoxide and cyanide both inhibits the same enzyme, that is cytochrome. Yes, CO means carbon monoxide, right? This CO, that is carbon monoxide, and your cyanide both will at a time inhibit your cytochrome oxidase. Remember, this two is an example for non-competitive and this two is an example of competitive. A few things, this I wanted you to fill it up. Finally, fast, you have to say. Final product of urine. Yes, very good. Uric acid. Then finally, building block of fatty acid biosynthesis, which is very important for, I have said you, whenever fatty acid biosynthesis, keep it in your mind. CoA. Yes, acetyl CoA. And deficiency of sphingomyelinase causes Niemann-Pick disease. And next, which is a good cholesterol? HDL. For this, I can get good sounds. My God. Element that is required for phosphofructokinase, PFK, which is the element that is required for phosphofructokinase. No, this is an element or a mineral. Manganese, remember? Manganese, okay? Yes, ammonia is detoxified in brain to form what? Yes, glutamine. If you would have been revising the last chanting, it would be easy for you. Thyroxine is synthesized from? Oh my God. Tyrosine. Tyrosine is synthesized from phenylalanine. Yes. Niacin is synthesized from niacin. Yes, tryptophan. And which is a source of nitrogen in urea cycle? Two sources. One is your ammonia, and another one is your aspartic acid. Aspartic acid, which is a limiting amino acid in wheat. Remember lysine and threonine. This is important. Please remember in view of TSM as well. Tyrosine become essential amino acid in which disease? Yes, phenylketonuria. Mousy odor of urine is present in same PKU, which is a precursor of adrenaline and noradrenaline. Tyrosine. Yes. Yes. That's it. Fine. Clear? Done. Next, we will be seeing in our pediatric or else GNT revision. Anything could be there. So I'll be letting it know. But gynae part 2 is already left, right? We'll do gynae or we'll do anything else. No, it's chanting only. Already obs is done, no? 2 parts. About whole obstetrics was done. About whole gynae and saying. If you would have been reading your notes, it will be very easy. The final chanting only you can revise. No need to read the notes also. Let me know which is the subject we can able to do, even in Telegram or as well in WhatsApp. Pediatrics, fine. Either we'll complete gynae or we'll do pediatrics. Fine. The next time. I hope your test and discussion for gynae is done. Right? Tomorrow it's there. Okay. Well, you do that. In between, we'll do some other subjects and then we'll go to gynae. I wanted you people all to cross 150. That's it. Fine. Thank you. Sorry.